Hello, welcome to the Reasonable Effective podcast brought to you by myself, Uncommon Fossil, and 10 Types.
Yep. Hello, everyone.
And this week we're talking about Twilight Masquerade. We were going to do it last week, but we felt like we needed to talk about live just because it was such a train wreck and was just impacting everyone. It was just a big deal. Now we've got a little chance to play a few of these cards and decks as well as play against them, so we have a better perspective now. It's still obviously early days with Twilight Masquerade. NAIC is still in the future, which is the first, I believe, IRL event where these cards are legal.
Well, that's not, well, in English. This is the first tournament in person,
outside of
major
Japan.
tournament, outside Japan.
Actually, and even that's actually not quite true, I think, because I think there's some other Asian countries that are like in between the rest of the world and Japan.
I don't know. There's some weird stuff. There's some countries, I know,
So-
like China has some, like behind, there's some weird
Well,
stuff.
China's old.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird Pokemon things going on, but it doesn't really matter. So,
But for most, right? I mean, but for in most of the world outside of Japan, this is the first event with these cards. It's the first big
I
event.
mean, most people aren't going to NAIC anyway, so it doesn't,
But it gets a lot of attention, right?
I guess so.
Pokemon wants it to get attention.
They do.
In fact, I got the email today about the on YouTube they have a pre-NAIC thing for a few hours or something
Sounds
to get
lovely.
to get the hype going.
And anyway, so that's the thing. But today we're talking about the set, and we've each played with it. I think I've played with more of the new cards you've played with. You've done like the Battle Pass decks, and you've done other stuff.
I've done a little bit too, but yeah, I haven't had the time to do a ton of Pokemon these days, so I haven't gotten, so my decks have been limited. But I've obviously played some of these cards more. I put some of the cards into older decks. It's kind of easier to get a deck going when it's not all brand new stuff. But I've certainly come across these on the ladder and seen some of the implications of these cards that I hadn't before actually playing the game.
Yeah, and then between the two of us, we haven't played all these cards, but we played most of them. We are not
Right.
ranking the ace specs we did previously.
Yeah, just because they're different. To me, I would have maybe done some A specs, but not others. But it gets kind of weird how do you rank them. So leaving out the A specs, this is not a comprehensive tier list of all the Twilight Masquerade cards because it's just too many. So we picked some. I think we've got most of the good ones, and we've got some other ones too that I think are. I picked some that are interesting, and it just helps kind of fill out the different tiers.
Yeah, and the tiers are S, A, B, C, D, F, which is pretty normal for just general tier lists. So, yeah. But let's start with the first card. This is a card I like, and we're going in set order. We got Illumis. Oh, we're gonna say them wrong as well. But yeah. Anyway, so Illumis, you want to read it out here for us?
Yeah, 70 HP basic Pokemon. Does it evolve, by the way?
No.
Okay, so this is the final evolution with, I assume, well, Glide does 30 for 2, but I assume that's not why it's interesting, but slowing perfume for 1 colorless. You can use this attack only if you go second and only during your first turn. Shuffle one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and all attached cards into their deck. So you can't get rid of the active, so you can't, quote, donk someone with it,
No.
which is probably good. It's colorless, so it could go in any deck. Obviously, is an option. I guess it goes in some control things. I guess I'm not sure what deck ideas don't come to mind to me readily.
Well, I don't think it's a deck. So this is a card I chose that I wanted us to talk about. This is something I'm just playing a little bit. It's good against, say, like Pidgeot. Pidgeot's a good card, right?
Yeah, so you get the basic
Pidgey, yeah.
Pidgey into the bench, yeah, or out of play, or the Charmander if that's what's there.
Yeah, if they're playing like Charizard, Pidgeot, because a lot of the times, one, they don't want to just leave their Pokemon in the active to get knocked out, which could happen. It's not necessarily going to happen, but low HP Pokemon can get knocked out, and then so they're going to have either one Charmander on the bench or one Pidgey on the bench. It's unlikely that they'll get 2 Pidgeys and 2 Charmanders,
Right.
And so then you can remove that.
Yeah, and usually when I'm playing an evolving deck and you have those low HP Pokemon, you're generally thinking, my active could get knocked out. So if you have one of one Pokemon and 2 of the other, it's one that you have 2 copies of this in the active. So getting rid of that bench one, you keep some single one on the bench to protect it. So it's getting rid of that protection.
Yeah, so you agree that's S tier?
No.
I think
Have you played the card, by the way?
I have put it in a deck.
In what? In a control deck?
No, it was in like a Frostlass. I never actually attacked with it.
Okay.
There's a game where I wanted to attack with it, but Well, there's one game where I wanted to attack, but then I went first. But then there's another game where I like couldn't get switched in. But
Right.
there have been times when I thought it would be good. It's like good against. I mean, it's something that'll really catch your opponent off guard.
Yeah, because yeah, I get that. There's a lot, which
But it can like destroy them as well, right? You
well,
know,
it can cause trouble. It can't.
you can put them a
It
turn
doesn't.
behind, which is a big deal.
Yes, but for the most part, the 60 bench deck slots are all very precious, and for the most part, most games, this card is completely useless.
But that's true with a lot of tech
So
cards.
I put this to me. This is a type of card I would put in like a Curlia deck type engine where you're just something where I want to chuck away cards a lot because this card, most games, it's just discard fodder.
Yeah, but there are games when it's like really good. So I think it's I don't know. Where do you think? I think you think it's really bad.
To me, I'm being generous and say it's D tier.
Yeah, that's why I figured you'd say something like that. So I think it's like I don't think it's that good. I'd probably put it. I think D tier is okay.
Okay.
We might move it down to F tier, but I don't want to do that. I think it's a very I think it's a fair card that has use cases.
I mean, in the ranking here, we're not, this is not necessarily competitive play, right? Because like for it to be out of F tier, does it have to be in one competitive deck over before
Maybe I think this will see play in competitive deck. It's like that. It's like those
in a
type weird.
control deck,
Well, not control. No, I
probably?
think it'll be a not control because if in control deck, it doesn't really one extra turn doesn't matter that much. So it doesn't matter.
That's
Like
true.
it matters more in like some like weird like there are some weird Charizard box decks or like Intellion box decks. Obviously, Intellion's not in format the engine, but
Right.
like in a deck where you have a lot of different options, it's a tech option.
Yeah, the tricky part is you're attaching your energy to that Pokemon that you can't use it ever again that game.
Yeah.
And most cards like a Charizard, that thing you want to TM Evolution if you're going second, right? So I'm not sure what decks would use it,
Oh
but
well, yeah,
I,
but there are
I
a lot of yeah, I don't know. Wait, Charizard doesn't usually TM evolution.
well, but if they're attacking, I mean, yeah, if they can't evolve, well then they usually
Yeah, they're
Rotom
usually
do, which they
rotoming
can't
or
do that.
clipping, but
So
I think it has some potential. I think it has more. I think it's the most underrated card in the game because no one knows what it does.
oh, that's
So
true. Like it's interesting, right? And perhaps it'll find some use.
yeah, but next one we got Thwacky, right?
Yeah, and this one definitely is going to see play for sure. It's got the ability Boom Boom Groove. It's a stage one, 100 HP, by the way. It can attack. But Boom Boom Groove, once during your turn, if your active Pokemon has the Festival Lead ability, and what is it, like three Pokemon that have that?
Yeah,
So,
which we'll talk about one. Well, I guess we'll talk about all of them.
then you may search your deck for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So, in a lot of ways, this is Pidgeot EX, except like 10 times better.
Exactly. You can use it multiple
You can do it
times.
4 times per turn if you get four Thwackers in play. It's a stage one, not a stage two. No rare candies needed, but it certainly has its downside, right?
Yeah, because you need a certain Pokemon in the active. There's really like two options. There's a basic or there's two basics, but their attacks are terrible. The one is kind of playable, but we're not
Mm,
even going to talk about it. So they have one retreat though, so you can retreat them pretty easily. You send them up, then you have this Thwacky, and you haven't played with Thwacky at all, right?
no, I have
Have
not
you
yet.
played against?
I might have. I don't remember. Yeah, I think I have, but I don't. I can't remember how those games went for my opponent.
Yeah, so I played the deck, but we'll talk about the attacker in the deck later, which is stage one, which is okay.
Hmm.
Um, and I think I have a video that came out on it. I don't know. At the time of recording, I haven't. It's not uploaded, but it's I recorded anyway. So
We
this
have
is
rescue board and format for the other Pokemon, right? So you get the free retreat each turn, and it also can just be an engine, right? You could just play the Thwacky engine for some other deck too, and I think that's probably the better way to do it, right? I think the attacking options with Festival Believability are to me are underwhelming.
yeah. So the it's interesting because your attacker, assuming you're not playing the Festival Lead deck, it'll be some like other attacker that's in the active, and then
Right.
you'll have the like I think it's a Goldeen or a Swirlix when they have this ability,
Hmm.
and then you send that up. But if your opponent doesn't knock you out, you don't have an engine, which is bad. And then if
Oh,
they
right.
knock out the Goldeen or the Swirlix, now you don't really have an engine either. So I
Right.
mean you kind of do, but you just can't really use it. So
Well, I mean, ideally, you need it in a deck where you don't want an attacker that like can't attack again the following turn, which we know those Pokemon are out there that you need to be able to then just smack them again with the same Pokemon and be happy, right? Like kind of
Like
like
Charizard. Or what?
yeah, yeah. I mean, this isn't the deck this is Thwack is gonna go on, but like when you're playing the the one that gets the Archeops into
Oh,
play.
Lugia.
Lugia, like sometimes your opponent takes out your Archeops, it's scary, but generally you just smack them again with something that does a lot of damage, so you're kind of okay with that. And that's kind of, it's kind of like that, right? They take out your engine pieces, you just got to attack again, and need to have a good attacker to make it viable.
Yeah, but anyway, so Thwacky, I think it's okay. So, and I'll talk about it more with the Diplin in just a moment, but
So where to put it? Is it,
I think it's
is it
C.
a B tier?
I think it's C tier. I
I
think
think that's
it's
fair. I
um
think if it has maybe hopes to be B tier.
yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it could be A or like even S if like the stars align. But I think
Yeah,
right now I think it's probably C tier. That's fine.
yeah. Okay, and so next we have the Diplin, which stage. This is the attacker. It's a stage one, of course, of awesome Applin with the festival lead ability. And what that ability says is if Festival Grounds is in play, this Pokemon may use an attack it has twice. If the first attack knocks out your opponent's active Pokemon, you may attack again after your opponent chooses a new Pokemon. Now, the Grounds does what again?
I literally was playing with this deck yesterday
And you
and I kind
forgot.
of forgot. I think it might heal special conditions. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, it's not that it's not
The
good.
stadium's not that good, but you have to play it, right? So again,
Oh no, I think it heals 10 or something. It's not that good, especially in this deck.
yeah. That's one of the downsides is deck space too, right? You need a bunch of things to get going here.
Mhm.
But so it copies only it copies the attack on this Pokemon, which means no tool like a TM card. You can't use that attack because it's not put on this Pokemon. It's like kind of weird. If you had Relicanth, you could attack what the basic has, although I don't think the basic is better in this case. So here's the attack you get. You get Do the Wave, does 20 damage for each of your bench Pokemon. So it can do
For one grass.
for one, yeah, one grass, so it can do 100. It's not even each Pokemon in play for one to do 120. It's 100.
Well, but that's not that bad. But it's actually more like 200, which is really good.
Yeah, but
That's like
considering you
just
need
pushes
so
Charizard
many,
DX for less energy on a single Charizard. And it's a
well,
stage one.
oh, so it's just okay. I
No,
mean, I wouldn't compare it to Charizard EX. They're just very different.
yeah.
The problem, look, it's not if it did that much damage, but I didn't need the stupid stadium that I don't want to play. It may have some value, but it's an evolution. It's I'm not loving it, right?
Yeah, no, I agree that you're not loving
Well,
it.
I mean, because I need the Applin, I need the Diplin, I need the stadium, and then I'm also
But that's
playing the
just as awkward
Thwacky.
as a stage two, which are
It might be
like,
more awkward, but
well, it's
stage
about,
twos do more than this or better. Obviously, this is never
yeah.
surviving a hit. Also,
No, but it's also, so in playing that, like, so you need to kind of consider the different, and then with the Thwacky, right? You're playing with Thwacky, you're playing
right?
them together.
Yes.
And the engine's really powerful. So I think, I don't know. So I was playing this, and it was weird. It was like super bizarre because you'd like be in a really good spot, and then you'd like lose your attacker, and then you'd just be kind of stuck if you didn't have like the right setup. But
Right. And if you're just attacking with Diplin, I don't know if you're playing the other Pokemon Festival lead, in which case your Diplin gets knocked out. You send up your basic Pokemon. You don't have Festival lead
yeah,
ability.
no, you either want another Pokemon with Festival Lead, like one of the basics, or you could play, or you need another Diplo on your bench. But I think it's okay.
All right. So it's not as good as the Thwacky, right? Because the Thwacky has more
Yeah,
potential
yeah.
as an engine. So is it C tier or is it D tier?
I think it's not D tier. I think it's C tier. We could move back up to B. I think I think this is C tier.
Okay. And then put it behind the Thwacky, and
Okay.
we can adjust Thwack if we think we
Yeah.
need to.
Oh, one thing. So this is a tier list on like how good they are now, right? That's kind of. But
Yeah. I mean, something though like Thwacky, to me, it's flexible, so I'd give it a little extra bonus for that.
yeah, because Diplin, Uncommon Fossil, I imagine you don't know this, but so,
Thanks a lot for the vote of confidence.
yeah, no, so because you don't play the video game, I also don't play the video game, but
Okay.
there's an evolution to this. Oh, I forget the name. I
Oh,
think it's
stage two's
Hydrapple.
gonna come out.
Yeah, so that'll be probably good, I
Okay.
guess.
Has there not been that stage two printed yet in the game?
No, so we don't have any copies of that. So
Okay.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. All right. So next card, go into our first EX here, Teal Mask Ogrepon EX, and this one is definitely a good card. I think this will be higher than anything we have. It's got the attack's solid, I would say. Myriad Leaf Shower for 3 grass does 30 plus 30 more for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. I think if it's powered up and a Charizard EX is powered up, you one shot it because of
Yeah,
weakness.
yeah.
So, which is meaningful, obviously. You're not doing huge damage to things without weakness necessarily, but then it's got the Teal Dance ability, which is what makes it good. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic grass energy card from your hand to this Pokemon. So you need the energy in hand. That's always to me an issue with things like this. But it's good if you attach the energy from a Pokemon this way, you draw a card. So accelerate energy, draw a card, both really good things. The downside is you just got to get energy in hand. But we do have Earthen Vessel, so you can generally make it work.
Yeah, I assume you haven't played the list that the like 36 energy deck.
I have not. I mean
No.
that you're looking for was consistency. I even yeah, I don't know that I played a viable deck with that many energies in the past. And that one did well. Did that win or something like
I
that?
don't really know. I played it. It's not very good, believe it or not. I mean, it's like funny, but it's not. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of options.
Mhm.
But yeah. So it's I played against it a lot because the Raging Bolt EX deck with this has seen like
Right.
a lot of play.
Yeah.
Um, so what are your thoughts on that deck right now?
The Raging Bolt deck,
Yeah, with
which
Ogre Pot.
which I haven't played, but that's a good use of the Ogre Pond because you just need to get some energy to accelerate it. 70 per
Yeah, it
energy,
was
which
kind of weird because then you have three types of energy as well.
right, that's one of the things because I've also done some Ogre Pond. I'm working on a box, the Ogre Pond box deck, which is appealing but kind of has its issues too. But once you get into a deck that needs multiple energy types, then you're not hitting your grass energy as often as you'd like, and then you're not accelerating, and the whole deck kind of bogs down. So that's a problem, right? You potentially can power up non-grass Pokemon like with energy switch and stuff, but then you know, it just makes things clunkier.
Yeah, I played against like a Roaring Moon EX Ogre Pot deck, and that was weird. They did not win. Or did they win? I don't think they won. I
Okay.
was playing like a weird deck as well. Anyway, so where do you think this one belongs?
I mean, it's obviously seeing play. I'm inclined to put it low B tier.
Yeah, I think B tier is fine. I'd say maybe even like high, like mid to high B tier. I think like I'm looking at some of the ones on here. They're not that
Maybe
good.
it is. Maybe we're underselling like
I think B
something.
tier is it's like I think it's pretty solid. I don't think it's not like an amazing card. I mean, its attack's pretty bad, and the energy
Right.
acceleration isn't that good most of the time.
Hmm.
It's only good if you like. It's really good if you just need energy and play like with Raging Bolt, but that's kind of niche. But
Right. Or you can do the Ogre Pond box deck and you have the Ogre's masks and you can power up the Teal Mask Ogre Pond and switch it into a different type of Ogre Pond that just needs one colored energy. But that's a little clunky
yeah, I
too.
mean that's so good that it's not on here.
Yeah, I think we have at least one other Ogre
Yeah,
Pond,
we have
right?
one of the ogre. We don't. We have the fighting one. We don't have the water one, which is
Water one's not bad.
it's not bad. It's a little boring. It's not that boring. It's whatever.
Yeah,
Actually, there's a lot of it's him using control as well. But anyway,
yeah. All right, so on to next is a stage two. We're finished with grass. On to fire. Infernape, 140 HP, so a low HP for a stage two. It's got the ability Pyro Dance. This is what it's all about. Once during a turn, you may attach a basic fire and a basic fighting energy from your hand to your Pokemon any way you like. They have to be in hand
I
though.
feel like you like reading that. You didn't like know the ability.
I can't. I know. I played the other one in the past.
The Dragonite.
Yeah, the same one. But
So it accelerates a fire, fighting, or both
right.
to
Any way you like. So you can split them up, which
yeah.
is good. Its attack is also isn't bad. Fire, colorless. It does 200 damage, so that's not bad. But it's 140 HP. It's getting one shot stage two, so you don't really want to be attacking with it.
Yeah.
But
I mean it's not that
you
bad.
may you can, right? And especially if you're putting it in a like a multi-prize attacking deck, having a single prize attacking option is always good. So
Mhm.
because you're playing multiple copies of this. So I'm not sure what wants fire and fighting energy though. That's
Yeah,
my
I
big
don't know
conundrum.
off the top. I mean, I think there's a Seer and Arcanine which wants it, but his Seer and Arcanine's not that good. I think it does less damage than Infinite. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you chose this one.
I did because it's interesting. I like this type of
I will
thing.
say it's not like we each chose some and then stuck it together. We did well, we kind of did, but there's a lot we both agreed that we want on here. But then
Right, we each added some we thought. So, look, it's an interesting one. I think to me, it's a kind of card you need. To me, I want to keep in mind, and at some point, I imagine I'll build a deck using it, and hopefully have some fun with it. Like,
yeah,
it's not going to be a competitive deck ever, most likely, right?
yeah, I don't think
You
so.
know,
There's the Dragonite that wasn't a really competitive. There was like a deck, but it was only in Japan because rotation meant that we couldn't play
the
either person
partners
did. It
didn't
was like
work.
weird. I think it was Kyogre or Amazing Rare, that card
Yeah,
with Lance Prism Star, which put Dragon Pokemon like into play. I don't remember exactly what it did. It was a really weird deck, and it was not very good, but it was funny. And then anyway, so where is this going?
it's F tier.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty not good. I mean, I think it actually has value,
Yeah.
theoretically, but it needs to like with the right partner. But there isn't.
Right. What would it be? Or a deck that wants to attack with fire and or fighting as separate things. Maybe.
Well, yeah, I feel like it really needs to make good use of both. Like if we get
I
some
would
dragon
think.
Pokemon that uses both,
Right.
like there was like a Cridon EX, I think, which is okay. It's not like that bad, but
Right. So is there, right, do they have plans for a dragon that's going to use this energy and be good? And then we could maybe play this.
yeah. Next we got Poliwrath, a water Pokemon, and its attack here, jumping uppercut for 2 colors. You do 120.
Yep.
It's a stage 2, and but 120 we can do 120 more, so that'd be 240 or 220 with a double turbo. And if you do, shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached into your deck, so it's a hit and run Pokemon as well.
Yeah. And the hypnosis for one water, your active opponent goes to sleep, which you probably don't want that, is it? But
No.
that's in case of emergency situation. The problem is you're probably using this as a hit and run. You might have considered if fire is really strong, and fire's
I'm
okay.
gonna say, is that
Fire,
fire?
is it strong?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I see the question.
But why?
It comes. Is I said I don't think it's that strong now.
Oh, you don't think it's
No,
this?
I
Okay, I
don't.
thought you were thinking.
No,
Yeah, I think it's
I don't.
potentially
I
it's
thought
the
you were.
worst time.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty.
mean, you have Charizard DX, which kind of
But
it
Charizard,
messes up. But then you can put anyway. You can
yeah.
put fire
But
attackers
you
in
one
it.
shot the Pokemon anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So here's the problem with the hit and run. I like hit and runs. They're interesting. I don't know that you have great Pokemon to send up though,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, well, I don't know actually. I feel like there's some good options. Like, yeah, they're like Mimikyu's good,
Yeah,
Klefki's like decent, or
yeah,
Flood, I mean, they're kind of similar. And then there's Iron Thorns EX, which is again kind of similar.
yeah.
There's I mean, those are all pretty good.
I think I'd play Alakazam with that before I'd play this deck.
Alakazam, yeah, but this does more. Right? Like it's
Yeah,
just like twice as much.
Alakazam sits there on my bench. I don't have to shuffle it in and get it back into play and keep. I have to keep evolving in stage two every turn. My
Yeah,
rare candidate every
it's
turn,
fine. Oh, so
and
you'll
then
do this
then I'm playing
with the
silent.
Thwackey. You'll do it with the Thwackey because then you'll send up Swim Freely. No, not Swim Freely. You'll with a festival. What's it? Festival, whatever leader.
Yeah.
And then you'll search for like
And I need to
either.
get like three thwacks or something to get all the pieces. Like,
Yeah.
cause
Well,
I'm,
no, because you can't rare candy because they'll run out of rare candies after
well,
four
no, I'm gonna
turns.
have to
So.
like Silene every turn too.
Oh yeah,
I get a
yeah,
Silene, a
Silent.
Palpad, because I gotta keep recovering that too.
Yeah,
It's
so you'll
just
suck. It's fine. You got it. You got it. It's all good. And
so.
broken S tier, obviously.
So look, is this better than?
Infinite?
Yeah.
No, I think
Okay.
it's. I think
Infinite
it's.
could be good,
Actually,
maybe.
I don't know. I think there's some value, but I don't think it's that good. Um,
All right. So
yeah. Anyway, so next we got Milotic. Also, sorry if there's background noise. So Milotic has its ability here, mentally calm your opponent's Pokemon in play, and all cards attached can't be put into your opponent's hand, which stops Penny and Snare, Scoop Up Cyclone, anything
right.
else. Oh,
Okay.
Shooting Scare.
So this great. They go into hand. Not discard, right? So
Wait, what do you? Huh?
the opponent's Pokemon attached cards can't be put into their hand, right?
Yeah. So wait, what do you? If
I'm
it's
just thinking,
discard, what would that mean?
if you had something that was going to discard the Pokemon, it would still do that. It
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
stop that. It only stops them going into hand, or
I
if it
mean, if
went
it
into
stopped them from
deck.
discarding, then they couldn't get like knocked out. So, or they, I don't know what
Well,
happened.
well, that's true.
Or they get knocked out, but they're still being left.
Well, if fair enough, I guess, yeah. So anyways, yeah. So you kind of cover what it does. How good is this, right? Stage one, it's a tech option.
Yeah, I think it's like already on Snorlax, but it's not that good because then
Well,
you're supposed
mean for Snorlax to play it.
well no, against Snorlax because Snorlax wants to penny loop and
Oh
like
yeah,
penny stall, so this can counter that. But then they're just gonna guess this up unless if you're not attacking with it. It's
right.
watercolorless colors. It's attack and it does 100, which isn't terrible. I don't know. It's if it's a water deck, it's all right. But
Yeah,
um,
even water and double turbo doing 80,
yeah,
you're
I mean
two
you're
shotting,
shotting
and
if they
that,
don't have a tool.
and even if you weren't two shotting
Doesn't really
you're
matter,
putting
right?
pressure on them, right?
Yeah,
Because they're not built to knock you out.
yeah.
So,
And if they're not pennying, and then it doesn't really matter how much you do
right,
as long as
you'll
you're doing your
get surprised.
stomp.
Right. So, I mean,
But
I don't
and you
think it's
said
gonna
in
see.
control, right? As well, you could in
I
like
think you
normal
might
games.
too, right? Because then your opponent can't Turo their Pokemon at play either,
Yeah,
or
which
scoop up
is
Cyclone or
yeah.
anything like which is obviously that's one of the counters to Mawile or Snorlax too. Is that's that's your preferred thing to do. Get that thing out of play that so it can't get trapped again.
Yeah. So I think this is. I think it's like D tier.
Yeah,
I think it might let you see some play. I guess it. I think it's worse than the Loomis, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
no, it doesn't. I mean, this one could see some play, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it will. It'll depend on how popular Terra Scenario and stuff like that are.
Right. All right, so next we have another stage, Water Stage 1 in Frostlass with the Freezing Shroud ability. During Pokemon Checkup, put one damage counter on each Pokemon that has an ability, both yours and your opponent's, except any Frostlass. So it doesn't damage itself, but you're slowly building up damage on your opponent's Pokemon. It can attack as well, but that's not really why people play it.
No, I had to attack for the game. It was rough. I lost.
Yeah, I mean, their free cost is 1, which is good, so that part's all right. Is how good is it? I haven't played it myself yet. Obviously, it's getting played in the Greninja EX deck, and we'll be talking about the Greninja EX shortly. Um, I don't, I don't know. I mean, it's not doing a ton of damage, right?
Yeah, you
So
haven't played with it, right?
I have no,
Or have
I
you?
have not.
No, okay.
No.
Because we play a lot of Monkey Dory, which we'll talk about later,
Yeah.
which has been paired, which kind of amplifies the damage a little.
Right.
But so it's interesting. Obviously, against decks that don't have abilities, it's bad. Um,
Right. Then it's doing nothing. It's
mhm.
just a liability.
Yeah, and against decks without a lot of abilities, it's pretty bad.
Right.
So, and it
And
damages your own Pokemon. So you can't really play an engine if you're playing this. So you can't play like a
any Pokemon with an ability that you're gonna worry about, unless you play Monkey Dory and move the damage counters, I guess,
yeah,
right?
and you could do like Pidgeot, like some of the high HP like Pidgeot EX might be able to be okay, but something
Yeah.
like what's that? Like the barrel will be knocked out after a few turns, like
Right. You don't
two or three
want
turns,
that.
which is
Right.
bad.
I mean, if you're playing Charizard EX, again, you can take the damage, right?
Yeah, but it's not great certainly either.
No, because you're fixing the math maybe for the knockouts, but you're helping the math for your opponent's knocking you out, so you probably don't drop it in.
Yeah, but you can do it with Dragapult EX that doesn't have an ability
Right.
using Greninja EX. And then Frostlass like base decks. This is actually I had a Frostlass base deck. I put Loomis in. And so Frostlass, I think it's all right. Been playing this card a lot. Um, it's it's okay. It's it's like kind of hit or miss because you need to get it set up, and you can't play
Hmm.
Manaphy. I mean, you can, but it'll get knocked
Right.
out
Man,
usually
if he
after
gets
like a
knocked
turn.
out.
Um,
I mean, cards like this potentially make it hard to play single prize decks in low HP evolving Pokemon, as well as
but only if they have
Dragapult.
abilities.
And, yeah, but also we have Dragapult, which we'll obviously be going to be getting to, that makes it hard to play these low HP Pokemon or evolving things. So I don't, I hope it's not that good because I don't like what it will do to the game.
I get, but I mean, like most evolving Pokemon don't have abilities.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, like Charmeleon does, but like there are other Charmeleons. Bidoof does, but there are other Bidoofs.
yeah, right. So, so I don't know. I mean, it sees play, obviously, so it's near the top, right, of where we're
Yeah,
at
I
at this
think
point.
it's
It's a B tier.
yeah, I think it's above Ogre. I like it more than Ogerpon.
It's going to see, I like NAIC coming up. I think it's going to see more play.
Than Ogerpon?
No,
Well, I
not
don't think. But I
Ogerpon.
think it is.
No,
I think it's better. I mean,
like what?
Ogerpon's like good because it has good partners, but Frostlass is good in its own right.
Right. At this point, it's most I mean, it's seeing playing Greninja
Yeah,
EX,
and
right?
I don't think it's the best way to play Greninja. I think a lot of people are playing it, but I think the Pidgeot build's probably better because not having any engine's like not good. I mean you kind of have an engine, but
Right.
yeah.
And it's good against like a part like Blissey too, right?
Uh,
Makes things like Blissey
with or
EX
against?
against it
I get,
makes it a little tougher.
but it's also you can play it with Blissey, with Monkey
Mhm.
Dory.
Yeah, that's true too. All right, so next we have another water stage one. We really like these a lot. So Palafin with the 0 to hero, and then we have Palafin EX also. So the ability here is once during a turn, when this Pokemon moves from the active spot to the bench, you may search your deck for a Palafin EX and switch it with this Pokemon. Any attached cards, damage counter, special conditions, turns in play, and other effects remain on on the new Pokemon. If you switch to Pokemon in this way, put this card into your deck, then shuffle your deck. Now, does the basic stay in play or does the basic go away?
Yeah, I think the basic stays in play.
Okay.
Which live, I know Pokemon DG Live is like wrong. It's like, oh, I don't know if it's wrong. It just doesn't work. Um,
Yeah, right now Palafin EX like messes up
yeah,
live
I think
a
it's been
lot.
kind of fixed, but I don't think it's fully fixed. It might not be fixed at all, but I think it doesn't like completely break the game as much. Like it used to like turn cards into other cards and then like soft lock the game. And I think it just is just wrong now, but I don't think it like is as bad.
It's more of a visual glitch, I guess, now maybe. And
Yeah.
Palafin EX is very, very, very good. And if it was just you could evolve it normally, it would be busted, right? Probably
Yeah.
it's 340 HP on a stage one. That's awesome, right? That's as high as we get. The ability Hero Spirit says you put this Pokemon into play only with the effect of Palafin 0 to hero ability. So there's no other way to get this in play, period.
Yeah. Well, there's one way, not in standard.
Expanded, right?
Yeah, if your hand is ability locked, which is a
Okay.
thing. It's weird. It's like rare. It has to do with like some weird rollings and stuff.
Yeah, but and then the attack for one energy, Giga Impact does 250 damage. Very good. Now it can't attack me on the flying turn, so you got to do some extra switching because you're not getting knocked out. At least you hope not, because with all the work to get it set up, you're hoping don't get knocked out, ideally. But if you can keep switching between them or something, get another Palafin in play is the ideal thing, I would think, and just switch between them. Very good. But can you get it set up? You've played the deck. Can you get it set up?
Well, I mean, I played that live. It was so that was,
So
but
live didn't work.
yeah, I can really kind of get set up. You need a lot of switch. You really want, and you can't be like Terror Scenario because you can't scoop it up because you can't just play it back down. But you
Right.
can do the Force Switch, Prime Capture, and I played Malwa V-Star, which I actually really liked.
Hmm.
And then it's okay. You can definitely like work with it. You want the Dunsparce engine, which kind of acts as a switch, and it also draws your cards.
Right.
And I think that's the best way to play it. And then I mean, its stats are just really good, right? So it's
Right.
pretty good.
Now, if Cheryl's in format where you heal all your evolutions with damage and discard the energy, it'd be tremendous.
I guess so, but you
Like,
still need to switch without us, then, and you don't have a supporter to do it. But
that's true.
so it would be a little awkward, but probably nice. And then like, the high HP is good, but it will get one shot sometimes. So I think it's all right. There are also some other Palafins that are all right. There's two, I think, but they're
Okay.
okay. But well, three. There's the single prize. Also, we are grouping them together. Obviously, you can't really play them separately.
Well,
Uh,
you can play the single prize, but its attack does 30 for 2 energy, so you
yeah,
don't want to.
yeah. So
It's
imagine if an expanded Mewtwo Mew worked with the lowercase EXs. This would be cool, but it doesn't. I hope we get a card like Mewtwo Mew, but we probably won't. Um,
oh right, that lets you copy this, right? Or
yeah.
yeah,
But anyway, so this is okay. I think it's probably
so like C tier.
maybe. I mean, um I think it's like better than Thwack, you could we could put it in C tier.
You think it's B tier?
I don't know. I think it's better than Thwacky. Do you think it's better than Thwacky? I don't think you do. I think you don't like the card.
I don't. I think it's going to be hard to pull off, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, if it works, it's tremendous. The
Yeah.
stat lines are amazing on it.
Yeah.
So
I think we can put it between Dipplin and Thwacky.
I can live with that.
Do you want it lower than Dipplin?
No,
Do you want it higher than Thwacky?
I pr
I'd be happy with it higher than Thwacky.
I can live with that if you want.
Wait, which you said you can live with both.
Go
Is
ahead.
there a preferred?
I don't care now.
Okay.
You talk me out of
What?
picking.
Okay. So now we got a card you like, more Pico.
Well, I guess it was my pick. Sometimes I wonder why I picked this. All right, so what is
It
this?
is interesting.
More Pico, and this is a fun evolution, correct? Morpeko.
Yeah,
Right.
basically.
So let's see it has the ability Snack Seek. Once during your turn, you may look at the top card of your deck. You may discard that card, and that's really what it's here for. It has Pick and Stick. Not an interesting little name for an attack. For one lightning, you attach up to 2 basic energies. Bring your discard pile to your Pokemon any way you like.
Yeah. Oh no, so this is a standard tier list, by the way. I think most of you probably figured that out by now, but it is standard.
So it's 70 HP, which is good in our Age of Dragapult instead of 60.
And with Buddy Buddy Poppin'.
Right. Yeah, 70 is kind of the optimal number these days.
Yeah. If it had like 500, that wouldn't be so bad.
No, but before Buddy Buddy Poppin', when we had
Low.
level ball 90 would have been preferable. There's decks that you want to discard cards. You actually look at the top card in your deck, right? You can discard it or not. So you get some deck knowledge if you're drawing. Like if you're playing Greninja, you know what you're going to draw or not draw. And there's a lot of decks that want things in the discard pile, right? You're accelerating energies in the discard or something.
Yeah, I guess.
So there's some decks that want things in the discard pile, right?
Yeah. I mean, expanded a lot of cards want stuff in the discard, but standard.
We have a lot of ways to get cards in the discard pile now. We've been growing. We're hitting that supporter too, I think, right? Before we're done.
Yeah, I think.
So,
I mean, wait, there's a bunch of stuff with it.
Yeah, so I think it's
a few.
I think it has potential for some decks. Like I forget what decks I was thinking of at the time, but I had been playing some decks.
Sure, those decks are. If you're probably thinking of Claydol, that's probably what you're thinking.
No, it can't go on a Claydol deck.
Because no, you don't need the 3 energies because the Pokemon you use to attack rotate it, so you don't need the 3 Claydols.
Yeah, I don't have the bench space in that. So I was also playing Kyurem VMAX, where I like to, it's another way to know. Besides,
just lets you know. It's just like, I guess I don't have it because you probably have it, or you probably don't have the energy.
Right. So it's more of a way to get cards in the discard pile, and that,
But there's a stadium that does this, right?
Yeah.
Altar.
Yes.
And have you played that? I've not, or I think I played it in some decks, but it's not good. I've cut it because it's bad.
I probably played it in cast form. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably.
Not that that's saying too much, but no. All right. So look, it's not very good, and I'm not sure what I'd do with it at this point. So I know it's going on F tier.
Because it's bad. It's not like terrible. I think it's. I think it's the bottom of F tier.
Okay.
It doesn't really.
It may. I'll probably find a deck for this before it rotates.
I don't think it's completely useless, but its value is just so low. Like, it technically has value in every deck, but it's just so underwhelming.
It'll bring some value to some little niche road deck. That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe.
All right. Well, next here we get something that's going to be higher up, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much has to be the Iron Thorns EX. So it's got the initialization ability as long as this Pokemon is it's a future Pokemon, by the way. As long as it's in the active spot, Pokemon with a rule box, yours as well as your opponents that have no ability except for future Pokemon. So that's pretty good.
Yep. And that means you can increase the damage with Iron Thorns. With Iron Crown EX. I always get them confused.
Oh, right. You're right. So you can do that, and it does 140 for 3, and you move an energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. So I've run into Iron Thorns decks at least once.
Yeah, I've played them.
They just played 4 Iron Thorns.
Yeah, I played them. So I was playing a game. I made like a horrible misplay. I was just not thinking.
And it kind of was annoying, but eventually I just smacked through them because they're not doing huge damage.
Yeah.
With that, it's a counter card. It's not, which is fun, but it's not doing great stats unto itself. So
yeah, 140 for 3, which is like okay, and then having to move the energy is a little. I don't know if it's good or bad. It's kind of weird, but
and the retreat cost is 4, so you need to, if you're not getting knocked out, I guess you have free retreat with the tool.
Yeah, with the tool you have free retreat. You do 20 more. I think it's okay. I mean, like against Charizard EX, Pidgeot EX is it's really good. Against Lugia Archeops, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like insanely good because you're one-shotting them as well.
Right.
Like pretty much everything they have.
And I assume it goes in a future box deck.
I guess it's weird because you really want the ability to lock up like all the time, right? Or at least like in the early game. So you can't really ride on.
Right.
It's kind of awkward to do that, but I think it's pretty good. I think it's. Well, where do you think it is?
Is it? I mean, I'm probably putting the C tier. It's maybe
C tier. I was gonna say A tier.
A tier?
I think it's really. I mean, I don't know if maybe B or A tier. I think
it's better than Twilight Masquerade. What do we got at the top?
And Frostlass.
Frostlass.
Um,
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know. We could put it. Let's put it in B tier, top of B
Okay.
tier, I guess.
All right. At some point we need to find something for A tier, so maybe we'll
Yeah,
have to
I'm
adjust.
sure we'll get we got some better cards later on. The trainers are generally better than the Pokemon, and also there are a bunch of Pokemon that are better.
Yeah, yeah, they're coming later on.
Yeah, like
So
our next one, Alakazam. No,
yeah,
this
so
card's
this and this was well, yeah, you're knocking this one because this was my idea,
what was your idea?
and I'm not sure why I put this one in either. But anyway, it's stage two. Alakazam, it has two attacks, strange hacking. Your opponent's active for one psychic here, so not bad there. Your opponent's active Pokemon's now confused. You may move any number of damage counters from your opponent's Pokemon to their other Pokemon any way you like. So that's what's interesting. It also has psychic for one, does 10 plus 50 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So that could be useful in some scenarios, obviously. But the ability to move around damage counters is pretty interesting, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Now it's a stage two, so you're going to put it in an Alakazam EX deck, I assume? Maybe one
Yeah.
copy, right?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
That's what it goes into.
But Alakazam EX isn't that good. I mean, I haven't seen it in quite a while.
You just told me a few cards ago how those different walling Pokemon were really good with the hit and run deck. And
Yeah,
now, so that's what Alakazam EX is all
yeah,
about, right?
it's true.
And I can play the Iron Thorns in that deck too, right?
Okay,
Actually,
yeah, I said that. I
that's
said that.
oh, did you?
I think I did.
All right.
But
So
EX, I'm assuming you could play the single prize Iron Thorns, I
yes, no,
guess.
the EX to shut down. So look, it goes. You probably you've done spread decks and things like that. So moving things around any way you like, and we have the one that puts 10 damage counters on every Pokemon with ability every turn. We have Monkey Dory, which we'll get to. So there's damage get moved around. So if you're doing spread and kind of shift stuff around, all of a sudden you could just wipe out their. You can take infinite prizes the way people like to talk about things
It's
on
true.
Twitter.
It's true.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah. So there have been cards like Alakazam, I guess, like better than Alakazam. There's Dusknoir from. I don't know, what was that? I don't know. I say next Destinies, but I don't think that's right. But there's Dusknoir, which is stage two low as an ability.
Hmm.
And this does confuse, but that's like not that good, right? So and then there was the Tapu Leles too, I guess.
Hmm.
They're kind of the same card, but the same attacks, but different types. So that was two energy on a basic, and so you
Hmm.
use that as a counter energy. By the way, terrible in Pokemon TCG Online. I think that it's okay in live, but I think you'd like time out. Anyway,
Which
um,
could be an issue with this too, right?
I don't think it'll time out. I think it'll just be like really slow. Oh, one thing I didn't say this about Frostlass. I've been playing it a lot in live. It's
Hmm.
really slow. It does each Frostlass. It does damage all of them at once, which is good.
Yeah.
But if you have a bunch of Frostlasses, I mean, it takes longer than I like by a
Hmm.
bit. And anyway, so this will be slow, but and then there was the Tapu Lele's, which were interesting. I played them expanded. I played both Dust One and Tapu Lele. They're pretty good, but
Hmm.
they're the ones that have ability and the ones that a basic. So I don't think this is completely terrible.
No, I mean I'm looking. I think it's like low D tier. I think it's better than the other cards in F tier,
That
right?
could be. I don't
Think.
think so.
So you think it's F?
I think it's F. I mean, I think there's potential in some of them. You
Okay.
can put it in D. That's fine.
All right. I mean, but yeah. I mean, it's not like we're that far off, right?
No.
In terms of where we're at. All right, we got a better Pokemon now that you've seen, and I'm sure you love or love to hate. And this is Monkey Dory. I've been enjoying this one. Basic Pokemon. It's got the Adrena Brain ability. Once during your turn, its Pokemon has a Darkness energy attached. And it's a Psychic Pokemon. Takes Psychic energy to attack. You
Well, it's like a colorless. You can
Psychic
use it to
colorless.
attack. Its attack's bad anyway.
You don't really want to attack with it.
Yeah, not
It's
the
there
worst,
for the
but
ability. You may move 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to your opponent's Pokemon. So
to one of your opponent's Pokemon.
right. So all from one of yours. If you have damage spread out, like from the guy
Frostlass.
Frostlass, and you don't have 30 on anything yet, you can't move. You can't get 10 from 3 different Pokemon. But it's nice. It goes obviously Gardevoir EX. I imagine is where it sees the most play, or a bunch of
Maybe.
play,
I will say this is annoying for when I'm playing Frostlass when my opponent's playing Monkey Dory. It's not so fun.
because they're just putting
They're
damage
just
back
like,
on.
yeah, and Cresselia as well for Frostlass. Anyway,
And I did it with, you can do fire. I did a fire deck with Magma Basin, and you
yeah.
damage
And
yourself.
do you run a Luminous Energy? I know a lot of lists
I
run, if you run Armored, you can run Armored, Luminous Energy, Monkey Dory, Magma Basin, so,
okay. No, I
and that
didn't
like
do
works
that.
all right.
Yeah, I just played the basic in that one. But and obviously, in one sense, any deck could use it, right?
I mean, I don't
In
know.
theory, right? Every deck wants to get damage off itself. Most decks won't use it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be able to like survive a hit, right?
Right. Or I mean, I've been trying, I'm thinking, I still want to have ideas for it. I want to do a Dodrio deck of damage myself, setting up, and I can attack, and I can also move over. I'm thinking a stall Dodrio
Oh yeah, you
Monkey
told me about
Dory
that.
deck is the thing, is the deck of the future. But I haven't gotten there yet. It probably won't be any good.
No, but you never know, I guess.
But look, Monkey Dory's a solid Pokemon, right?
You know, I think it's pretty good. You can play it in Blitz EX, which we'll talk about. You can play it in I don't remember. You can play it in like a few decks.
I mean, you play some Greninja EX, we'll get to that. Could that use it, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, anything with high HP really can. I
Right.
think this is A tier. I think it's probably the best card we looked at so far.
hmm And it also could counter Dragapult EX, right? Or any
Yeah, it's
Dragapult
all
EX
right.
mirrors, maybe you'd want it.
Maybe it's like awkward because you
You,
probably need Luminous
you
Energy.
already need two energies as it is, so now into third, yeah.
Yeah,
So you think it's so A tier, yeah. Okay. We'll put it right at the top of A tier since it's by itself.
yeah. Next we got fighting Pokemon Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr is interesting. It's 250 for fighting colorless
Yeah.
stage two. But no, it has 180 HP, which I guess the HP is kind of weird. But if it's affected by a special condition, ignore all energy, and this attack's cost.
Right.
That special condition should probably be poison. You can do
And you can burn.
I think there's a way to sleep, and then you can attach a tool, but the tool might not
Oh,
even
there's
be in
wind up
standard.
arm, right?
You wind up on it. Is that still in
I
standard?
think yeah, I think so.
Okay,
And,
so
and then you can be paralyzed as well, right?
yeah, but I don't think you can self-paralyze. Anyway, so Conkeldurr, but then that'd be 250 for free. So if you're affected by like poison or whatever. So this is
Right.
all right. It's not that hard to poison yourself. Um,
No, it's not. I mean, obviously, it would have been better like the cloth electro deck when we had Spicy Season Curry. It would have been just because that was another card easy to get special condition on. Now you need Brute Bonnet with the tool, right? That's what you're doing,
yeah.
basically.
So, but that's not like bad.
No, it's just a different card that doesn't over have a ton of synergy, and this
Yeah.
is a stage two, right?
hmm
So 250 for no energy is good. Um, it's a stage two. It's I, I mean, how good is it, right? Obviously, look, it's worth discussing. It's not overly interesting, I would say, but it's just awkward because you got to get some other Pokemon to play. I mean, what is it? Is it C tier? Is it D
I
tier?
think it's C tier.
I
That's
mean,
fine. I know some people who just love this card, but I'm not one of those people. But I think C tier is fine.
okay. I mean, because I might push it in D tier, but I think you like it, so
Yeah, I mean it's damage. I mean its damage is really good. I mean it's not insane, but it's good,
right.
and it's not that hard to use. So
No, but I assume the stage one isn't that good, in which case you have to rare candy, and you can only rare candy four times, and then you're out of attackers. Then
yeah, well you
you have
man
to go to
like
something
it's
else.
yeah, but
So,
you could do cloth. You could do put in cloth. You
um,
can kind of use cloth and Conkeldurr,
you could.
which isn't like that bad.
No.
If
Okay.
it was just fighting, it's not so good. But whatever.
Right.
Speaking of fighting, we got another fighting Pokemon, a classic fighting Pokemon, Greninja. Now we got Terra Greninja EX, which has two attacks.
Yeah.
It's water energy for one water, Shinobi Blade 170. You can search your deck for any card and put it into your hand, then
Yeah.
shuffle.
Very nice.
And then you have Mirage Barrage, fun attack name. Also 310 HP, a little low, and you are Psychic Weak, which does mean you get one-shotted by Mew EX, which can happen,
Mm.
but not if they have double turbo. Anyway, Mirage Barrage, colorless. You discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. It does 120 to two of your opponent's Pokemon.
Yeah.
Um, and by the way, if you discard double turbo, you are going to still do the reduced damage.
Except in live.
Oh yeah, except in live. Yeah, live isn't right. It's a weird ruling. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff like
Right.
rulings in Pokemon in general, but
Right. Like the whole, what you gotta get kind of difference between damage and damage placement, right? Damage
yeah,
counters.
yeah,
Yeah, I believe you resolve the attack first and then the effects of the attack after. That's my understanding. That's kind of the official explanation of why it
Oh, you
works.
do what?
You resolve the attack first. You do the damage first,
Yeah, you
and
calculate
then
the
the
damage.
effects of the attack
Yeah.
after.
Well,
So
you do actually discard the energy before you do the damage, but
yeah, it's weird.
I think. Anyway, so whatever. This card's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, searching for any one card. I mean, you talk sung the praises of Togekiss VMAX back in the day.
Did I? I thought it was yeah. I thought it was gonna be go to Sharon's care.
Yeah, that
And
search for two. This is
well, I
one, so
thought
it's
it was
not as
good
good,
because you
but
could like Sharon's care forever.
yeah. And I actually played that more than you did. It was okay, but this is better. Not only search for one, but it's attack call. It's just a better Pokeball.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like it. And obviously, you can hit the bench as well. I mean, I haven't done it yet. I would think I would build it first around the first attack and then use Splash in the second attack. I would think that's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, and then so I've played this some. It's awkward. There's Pidgeot and there's Frostlass. I haven't played the Pidgeot build. I think it's better, but it's not like great. So,
Hmm.
but I think it's still really. I think it's probably the best card to looked at so far. It's probably like above Monkey Dory and A.
Yeah, I mean, I won't see as much play right now, but yes,
Yeah, I mean it's
it
more
might.
niche than Monkey Dory,
Yeah,
but
well, it's its own deck, right?
yeah, it's his own deck,
I mean, in theory, you could put it in a Chen Pao deck, right?
I guess.
But you gotta.
Um,
I don't think you want to switch to
yeah,
attacker.
no. But anyway, next we got another fighting Pokemon, Okidogi, which is 130 HP and does has good punch, not great punch, not
No, because it's not great. It's
yeah,
70 for
not
two
average
fighting.
punch though. It's a good punch, 70 for two fighting. But then you have the ability Adrena Power. Oh, are they all Adrenas? Okay, I guess all the loyal three all have Adrena something because
Okay.
there's Adrena Brain and the third one. It's not
No.
in here. I don't remember what
Hmm.
it was. But so we got Adrenaline Power. If this Pokemon
Yep.
has any darkness energy attached, it gets 100 more HP, so up to 230,
Yep. That's
and
nice.
does 100 more damage. Just doing 170 for essentially fighting darkness. But
Yeah.
if you have Luminous, you can just use fighting and a
Just
Luminous
two, right?
or
Or
Legacy.
legacy
Yeah,
energy, even better. Then you give up no prizes.
yep. No Prizer, 230 HP, 170 for two.
Exactly. You can't beat that.
No.
So I haven't done it yet. Obviously, I mean, I want to play this one for sure. With Play-Doh. I don't. I think I need to find a way to no for two. The problem is you do need three energy on it to attack if it's basics, but you even need attack. You have to be accelerating energy or because you're probably getting still one shot, right?
Yeah, not always though. Hopefully you don't get ability lock. They could like hit you and then they could ability lock you and then you get knocked out.
Yeah, I did see Ting Lu deck recently.
Yeah, that wouldn't be so good for this.
No. So how good is it? Obviously, the energy, the powering it up is awkward, right? I don't have a good solution to that off the top of my head.
I think
Koraidon EX
Lost.
pops in my head, but that's not a good
Yeah,
solution.
as a Lost Zone, which is all I haven't played Lost Zone with Okidoki, and so,
Okay.
but I think it's all right, I guess.
Hmm.
I think this card's probably B tier.
Okay.
What do you think, actually?
It's low B then,
Yeah, bottom.
or
What?
C. I think it might be C tier.
Where in C tier? Where do you want to
You
put
can
it?
put top of C if you want.
Well, I'll put it below Palafin because Palafin's the goat.
Okay.
Um, so, and then next we got a pretty good card in Cornerstone Massacre Pontiacs. Do you wanna read it?
Yeah. So obviously the basic Terra type, as all the Ogre Pontiacs are. It's got an ability, Cornerstone Stance. This is why it sees play for the most part. But you prevent all damage from attacks done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon that have an ability. So we know that Alolan Vulpix V-Star is good, and this is better than that generally because it's not an effective attack. It's an ability, so you don't have to worry about being gusted up from the bench and stuff. So, and obviously abilities are huge, so that's very nice there. And then the attack fits with it too. Fighting colors, colors demolished is 140. Not great, but you're relying on the ability to survive turns. This attack isn't damage is not affected by weakness or resistance or by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, so you don't have an Ogerpon EX standoff. This part of it, but also you can hit through Mimikyu because um, you know. How often do you want to play a deck that you just lose to Mimikyu? I certainly do sometimes, but it's not a good feeling.
Yeah, and then you can also you don't hear weakness, which is actually annoying because I
Yeah.
just restarted sees play, and I'm sure there are other things, but
Hmm.
um, it's pretty good, I think. I mean, I think I think this card's like kind of broken.
It's very flexible, right? I put it in my Ogerpon box because this
Well,
is
yeah,
you're going to, and you
this is
can
the best one though, probably.
well,
Well,
it
it's
needs
kind
the
of good.
teal mask. Without the
Yeah.
teal mask, you're not setting it up, but because then you switch into it, which with the tool with the item card. And obviously you can go in a lot of different decks, right? So, um, yeah. So I don't know where it goes. You think it's? You think it's S tier?
I think it's S tier, but I think you
Really?
don't.
It's
Well,
not seeing
yeah,
a lot of
it's
play.
not seeing a ton of play. I think it's S tier though. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like Dragon Ball EX doesn't have an ability. Raging
Right.
Bolt EX doesn't have an ability, but
And at 210 HP, the one that downsides the Ogre Pawns here, they're very squishy, right?
I mean
210.
that's not that squishy.
You're only one damage counter away from Dragapult EX one-shotting you.
Well, but just being like 220 is average.
I
Well, it's
get
not even average
Actually,
anymore.
there's most of them now are 230, right?
What's 230?
I don't know.
NTE is 230.
That's all I know.
Gouging Fire EX is
No,
also
I think
230.
more of the EX are two, right? I think some of the fighting ones are. I don't know.
I mean, there are some that are 230. I think 210, 220, 230 is kind of like normal. It's not that low. I think it's above average. Um,
Maybe.
anyway, so it's
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's an S tier. Moving on. No, I
you
think
on S tier?
I think
All
S tier. I
right.
think it's better than Greninja EX. I think you also think it's better than Greninja EX.
I guess I like it. I like cards like this. How good will it be? The fact that it's not attack, an effective attack means you can send it up there and wait a little bit too.
Mhm.
So I guess at some point I'll just do an Ogre EX slash Mimikyu deck,
Yeah,
and just kind of just
fighting over Pond. The
fighting Ogre and just wait till I draw my energies. Yeah, I can just be willing to wait 15 turns so I can actually attack because I hope I'm immune to everything.
yeah. Uh,
Anyway, that one probably won't go well. So, but getting on to something better here, which a stage one, or
better here.
what?
We just put that in S tier. I don't know if this is better.
Well,
I don't think this is
not
better.
this one. What it's
This
pairing with, I think.
oh,
It's an S tier one. We're talking Drakeloak, so which means we skipped over what metal and what
Dark Souls.
darkness. No, sorry, guys. You can let us know the ones that you think we
Sorry.
skipped over.
Yeah, we skipped Mr. Among Us and yeah.
So Drakeloak, the stage one, it's not here for the attack. It's here for the ability.
It's an attack that isn't terrible. Fire Psychic 70. We were just talking about Mimikyu, knocks out Mimikyu, which does matter.
No, it does, and you have to be able to get the fire and psychic into play because the stage two has the same energy cost. So
If you're attacking, if this is a Dragon Ball EX deck, but it doesn't happen.
yeah.
Well, you
I haven't seen a Drakeloak engine deck yet,
no, but you
but
keep
I'm
saying
sure I'll
cards
try
like
it.
it. Yeah.
Well, because back in the theme days, right, when you had the Pidgeot deck, right, it was like the best engine
Yeah,
in
but you
theme
look at
format.
Infinite. Infinite's an F. That's an F
I
tier.
know. Well, theme decks mostly had zero engine. Anyway, it's got the recon directive ability. Once during your turn, you may look at the top two cards of your deck, just like Pidgeot. Was that the right
Pidgeotto.
Pidgeotto? Look, top two cards of your deck. Put one of them in your hand. Put the other on the bottom of your deck. So not bad there. And those that talk about like with Matang, you look at the top cards and then they go back on the bottom of your deck, right? I think with that,
Yeah,
and talk about how you get deck knowledge. You're getting deck knowledge with this too.
that's true.
So you before the game's done, you're going to know every card in your deck in the order it's in.
That's true.
So, but it is useful to get that little piece of information too. You don't have to discard, right? Because I talked about the one lightning, silly little basic lightning Pokemon, what more Pico, right?
Oh,
That
more
discards cards. And there's decks that like to do that, but there are other decks that don't like to discard. So being able to look at two cards, pick one, and just shuffle to the back or put it back in the deck is good for other decks as well. So it's a good ability. It obviously evolves to a very good Pokemon.
Yeah, Drakelog. So there was Pidgeotto, which we were talking about, and there was Chinchina, which is kind of the same as Kirlia. And so there's some debate about which was better. Generally, people consider Chinchina better, and generally people consider Kirlia better, which are the same.
Yeah.
Discard one, draw two. But they actually do two things. They see you the same number of cards. You look at the top two,
Right.
and they also increase your hand by the same size, +1.
Right, because you discard a card in order to draw two with the other.
Yeah, so in terms of that, they're kind of equal.
Yeah.
There's value in this card. Where do you want to rank? I was considering, when we were making this, I said, like, I don't think we need to rank this, but you're like, no, we need to rank this.
So it's ignoring the stage two for the most part, right?
I guess.
Although it brings value, because
Yeah.
with the stage two, like with the Charizard deck, you just want to get to the stage two. You only play the stage one, so you don't have to rare candy all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, you actually like the stage one.
Yeah.
You play extra copies of the stage one than you normally would. So I think it's a C tier probably.
Yeah, well, I probably almost say it's a B tier. I mean, I think you need to factor in this stage.
Then it's probably a B tier then.
Yeah,
Put it at the bottom of B, I'd say.
Sure. It's not really comparable to the other cards entirely, so that's fine.
No.
So now we have Dragapult EX.
Right. The card from this set, right? 320.
Yeah.
Right?
Or the Ogre Pawns.
E-
What's the Twilight? It's Twilight Masquerade.
That's true. They gave us the Ogrepons as the free battle pass
Yeah,
deck, and that means Pokemon considers the Ogrepons the cards.
yeah, maybe.
Even well, I
I don't
guess.
know. Anyway,
Anyway, usually that's the best deck, usually, but not this time. So Dragon Ball EX, 320 HP. That's what you expect there. No weakness because there's Dragon. That's very good. Retreat cost of 1. That's good. You can do Jet Headbutt for 1 colorless for 70 energy, so it goes in any type of deck you
no, no
want.
70 damage.
70 damage, sorry. What did I say?
This is 70 energy.
Oh, well, all right,
That
so
way wrong.
70 for 1 energy, the cost. But then it's here for Phantom Dive. You know that. Fire, Psychic, that's the problem. We'll have to talk about that. But 200 damage, solid number, bigger than Charizard EX before your opponent's taking prizes, but then quickly gets worse. Well, you place 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon any way you like, and it's not easy to shut that off. We have the stage 1, right? The grass stage 1 that does that.
Yeah. There's a few things to do, but yeah,
So, but it's not easy to
gotcha.
shut off, right? The basic, right? Rapska is the most common way, I think, these days, right? It's not the Jirachi doesn't work. It shuts down Save Light because it only works against basic.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear? There's the ETB. Did I tell you about? There's like Jirachi. They're like it stops. I think this is serving the EX,
Oh yeah.
but it doesn't because it's an evolution. So they were like wrong. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway,
Okay. So it's very good.
mhm.
There's talk about is this the best deck and format now? I'm not sure it is. I've heard some people say
Yeah, I do
it's
think it's.
trash. I
I
think
don't
they
think
only
it's.
say it's trash. The people saying it's trash is I think they don't think it's the best deck and format, and therefore if it's like tier 1 or A tier, in it they consider that they consider it trash then.
Yeah,
Um,
like under not as good as expected. Anyways, I think
right.
it's good. Obviously, I do think it is probably the best deck. I haven't been playing it that much recently.
Mhm.
It does have consistency issues though with it being a stage 2 and its awkward attack cost.
Right. The energy is the hard part to me, right? That's been my concern from the beginning. I played a little. Well, I played the Battle Pass version tier. That was terrible. That was a Sinesti. No,
No, it was the
no, that was the Ocarina. It just wasn't that good. I guess the most common way to play it is with the
Zadu.
Zatu engine, which I like a lot, but
You just said it
I
was
like to hate it.
bad.
I like it. I want it to be good. The problem is you accelerate one energy, you draw 2 cards. That's busted. It only accelerates the bench, but that's not terrible. But what it does, but you have to have the energy in hand. That's the downside to that. So you need 2 energies to attack. So you need some energy acceleration, right? That's the
Yeah, you do have
troublesome.
new upper NG, which is good. It's a nice spec, but it just pays your attack cost. You have
Right.
and honestly, you can just manually attack. I mean, you play attach. You played Eternus VMAX a ways back, and
Yeah.
you just do that. You just manually attach, and that would be fine.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't
Sometimes
get
you
to
have
attack
issues.
till like turn 3.
Yeah, but it was a really good deck, and
It
it
was
was an excellent.
because you're right. Well, the idea is you go first. You need to win the coin toss. Go first in that case. I'm not sure with this deck. You
I think
still
you go
might want to
first.
do that. You need to attach energy, attach again. You attack, and then you're not getting one shot, so then you can manually attach.
Yeah. So I think this is. Well, I think it's S tier.
It's S tier, yeah.
I think you're putting it. You think it's above the Ogerpon?
I think it probably is.
Okay. I'd
You
probably.
can live with that.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Okay.
And next we got Tatsugiri. You'll love this
This
one.
is my boy. Yeah, the guy that's a piece of sushi saying "Eat me, please," which I still find distressing. But anyway, the
It's
Pokemon that wants you. Anyway, it's got, and this can attack, and we'll ignore that. But attract customers. I love this card, and I'm playing as much as I can. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon's in the active spot, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck, reveal a supporter card you find there, and put it into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. A retreat cost of 1, so rescue board. You get knocked out. You promote your Tatsugiri. Get a supporter, 6 cards. You'll hit a supporter in most decks, a valuable supporter most of the time. And it's just 2 cards because there are a number of decks that don't really have engines, both just because of deck space. But for 2 cards, you can fit it into those kind of decks.
Well, it's
I
not really
like it.
2 cards. You're probably playing multiple. Do you just play one rescue board?
I just do one. I roll the dice
And you
there.
just always get it, and you play one Tatsuki. I mean, one Tatsuki is anyway. So I think this
Yeah.
card's all right.
Well, every deck plays Arven these days.
That's true. That's
You
true.
play 4 Arvens, and then
You play our 4 hours. You play like one tool. So
yes,
no,
and I make fun of those people, and I'm that now. But yeah,
yeah, no. I think it's. What do you think? I think it's A tier.
okay.
I think it's
I might not even put an A, but I think
okay. Bottom of A.
Yeah,
So I put it at the top
I
of
might have
it.
put it in B tier because it's not people. It's seeing like no love.
Well, yeah, but just because a card's seeing no play doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's not seeing play.
Okay,
So I think A is fine. So then we go to Bliss EX. This is a card I like a
this is your
lot.
boy.
This is my boy. It's fun, I guess. I played it. It's being played with Monkey Door mostly, but 300 HP stage one, really good. It's less
Yeah.
than Palafin, but you can actually play it. So um,
Yes.
300 HP, really good. For a treat, really bad. But
Yes.
you have Happy Switch, which is an ability. Once during a turn, you can move a basic energy from one of your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon.
Yeah.
Contrarian for 3 colors. Does 180 and draw till 6 cards in hand. We've talked about this card a lot, so I don't
Yes.
think we did talk about too much its use cases, but you can do Monkey Dory to heal and Sharon's Care to heal and stuff.
You can pair it with the Ogerpon, the Teal Mask
Yeah, you can
Ogerpon,
do
and then you can move energy onto it, or you can move the energy to a third attacker if
yeah,
you
there's just a
want to.
lot of different options. I think it's just like B tier,
Okay.
like high B.
I mean, it's a deck, right? Like the Greninja EX, it's a deck, and it's a solid choice.
Yeah, I think it's a better deck than Greninja EX, but I think it has like much lower upside. I mean, I'd probably put it at the top of B tier.
Okay. I mean,
What,
the
what do you
Greninja
think?
EX does what? That one does 170, and you search your deck for any one card,
But
right?
they're like different. This
They're
is three
different though.
energy, and that's like stage two.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
So you think what? High B tier?
Yeah, I'd probably put it at the top of B.
I think I'm fine with that.
And then we went to Blood Moon Ursaluna EX,
Ooh.
broken Pokemon, 240, can attack next turn, 5 energy.
And 260 HP, and you said 210 was like average, and I said 230, and now I forgot. They're 260s the new
I
standard
know.
for EXs.
So Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, 260 HP, basic. Its ability, the attack it has is 1 color less for each prize your opponent's taken. It starts out
Yeah.
at 5, can end at, well, 0, and does 2
Better than
points.
Charizard,
Radiant Charizard.
Radiant Charizard, yeah.
Yeah, it does less, but it's pretty much the same, but it's colorless. That's kind of how it's
Right.
viewed. There are some like differences, but I think it's S tier.
Yeah, I think so. It can go in any deck, obviously. I haven't seen it a lot, actually. I think I only seen it in one game, and I was
Yeah,
surprised just because I had forgotten about it. And all of a sudden, my
I will
opponent
say a lot of people
slapped it down in one
quit
game.
before the end of the game.
That's true.
So
It's a win the game attacker a lot, and obviously very effective for that. You have to then probably play it into your bench, swing into the active, and even possibly play a boss that same turn for game,
yeah,
right?
but it's still pretty. I think it's
It can go in any deck, right? If
yeah,
you have to pay the energy cost or some of it, any energy works. So it's a tremendous card.
yeah,
It's not a deck, but it's a card that like just gets slapped in a lot of
yeah.
decks.
I think it's the best card in the set.
You want to put it top
Yeah, I'm gonna
of
put it on top
S?
of S.
I can go with that.
Next we got
We're in the trainers, and this is one I suggested.
yeah,
So I'll
an
read it.
hour in. We're there finally. No,
So accompanying flute. So now we're getting to the big cards here. Reveal the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. Sorry, you may choose any number of basic Pokemon you find there and put those Pokemon onto their bench. Your opponent shuffles the other cards back into their deck. So I think it's pretty good for Snorlax,
I agree. Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, no, I think that
And
is.
control.
Yeah,
Part of it is most of the time when you play, and I've done a little Snorlax with this, you don't hit a Pokemon most of the time. That's the downside. But because you get it's an item, you can play multiple ones. So a lot of games you can spam them a little bit, and I believe you can fail it too. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to because I was playing like Ogrepon deck and I kept seeing Teal Mask Ogrepon. I'm like, I don't think so,
yeah, there are times you
right?
don't want to do that.
So it's just good, and it doesn't use your supporter, so it's just
Yeah, or your attack.
right. So it's just a nice little card for any, those control decks
Yeah, it can be used in
slap
non-control
in.
as well if you're like a spread-based deck or a deck where you're say hitting like Murad on the icing 220. You can gust up like a single
Yeah.
or two prizer. Um,
Well, and having bench space, I've talked this before, but is very important in the game. So if you potentially can fill up your opponent's bench so they can't slap down the Pokemon they want to, that's also can be very damaging too. So potentially you could slap it into other decks because it just causes trouble. Because sometimes keeping that bench spot open is important in games.
yeah, it's obviously luck-based. You're only looking at a few cards. I think
Yeah.
it's oh, I don't know. I haven't played this. Where do you think it is?
It's C tier.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So
It's very random.
yeah, I think it's
It's
between Diplo and Thwacky. Is that fine?
I think that's exactly where it belongs. So yeah, I mean it's an item, so you don't mind the randomness. Speaking of random items, bug catching set. I think this was my suggestion also.
Maybe.
But
I
this
think
is
it
a much
was. I
bigger
think you hadn't
card,
played
right?
it. Yeah.
Because with the Ogre Pawns, it was
Well,
designed to go
it's
with that.
something that actually impacts you. So,
And it sees play more widely. You look at the top 7 cards of your deck, may reveal up to any combination of grass Pokemon and basic grass energy cards, and put them into your hand, shuffle the rest back in. So, yeah, I think designed to go with the Ogre Pawn, the Teal Mask Ogre Pawn. Ideally, you get your one Teal Mask Ogre Pawn and the grass energy. You can accelerate and draw a card, right? That's obviously grass only. Grass is okay, I guess.
I guess. I mean, it's not good. Yeah, the Ogre Pawn is all right. And pretty much all the other stuff's not good. And like the Diplomat Black is all right. But I think I mean, it's an okay card. Oh, I was playing the deck with a 36 energy, and the game
Yes.
glitched, and I couldn't take the energy.
Oh, really?
Um,
And you fail energy with that one, huh?
yeah.
That's pretty impressive. 37 energy, and you didn't hit an energy.
Yeah, but
Yeah. So, how good is it? Obviously, if grass was better, it would be more impactful.
yeah,
Is it a C tier? Is it a
yeah.
D tier?
I think it's C. I think it's mid to upper C. I mean, it's like all right.
Is it above or below the
Accompanying flute.
yeah?
I'll say it's above it. We'll put it
Okay.
just above it, I guess.
All right. I'd put it below it,
I
but
know, but it's seeing more, like a lot more. I'll put it below. That's fine. It's probably a
it
worse
is seeing
card.
more play because
The Ogre Pawn
it goes in
seems
the
like
right
a
because
lot.
Ogre Pawn right because and partly because the Roy Moon decks, right? Probably is the biggest
Raging Bull deck.
Raging Ball. Yeah, you know what I meant.
Yeah, no, people always, I say them wrong, you say them wrong in the comments, like people are like, just say them wrong, and people like mix and match
The
them.
naming, look, I'm terrible with the names. You know that.
Yeah, I'm
So,
not great. I'm all right.
but I've heard other people complain too. The naming of these ancient and future Pokemon, somehow they're just all too samey to me.
Yeah, and yeah, the ancient ones are like just words, and the future ones are iron something, but they're all like they could really just like iron thorns. That could be like any of them. So,
Right.
um,
Exactly. It's hard to say. Yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, it doesn't have a good handle to grab
yeah,
onto with the Pokemon. So
yeah,
anyway, getting to I think this one's interesting. This is Carmen. If you go first, you can use the.
supporter.
It's a supporter. Yeah, it does what you're really looking for a supporter. You just discard your hand, draw 5 because drawing 7 with Professor's Research is too many cards to get in hand, right? So finally we get to draw less. All right, that part's bad. But if you go first, you can use this card during your first turn. So you can Lumineon V, get Carmen in, and just get rid of your hand. Then you get a Squawkabilly EX in play, get rid of your hand again, and pretty much you can, you had that how quickly can I deck myself out challenge, right? You
Yeah,
can, this goes even faster now with Carmen.
yeah,
So look, there are decks that want to get cards in the discard pile, right? You know that, right?
yeah.
And because Squawkabilly EX is a good card in some decks, right? So this makes those but assuming you don't want to attack, usually those decks want to attack turn 1, in which case you don't want to go first. But maybe this is in case you don't get to go second like you want, or maybe you do just want to get the pieces to set up, right?
Yeah, I think it's good in Lugia.
Yes, I think it's probably yeah.
And I don't think this card's very good. I think I've said that. I don't think it's very good. But
I think it's an interesting card. It's worth keeping in mind. You probably don't play 4 Carmen in a deck.
yeah,
You probably play Lumineon V. The problem is we have Nest Ball, not Quick Ball in format, so your ability to get Lumineon V and play it on your turn is limited. So you're gonna put it. What do you want? You want it a D tier then? It's not F tier.
I think it could be C tier. You want it in C tier, right?
I could. I mean, if you
Oh, we can put it top at D tier.
okay.
Just, I guess I can put it above the Loomis.
So you feel better if it's the bottom of C tier, wouldn't you?
Um, no, what, a Loomis?
I don't know, Carmen. So it's not blocking your guy there.
Yeah.
All right. So here we have an old card. All old things coming back new. Enhanced Hammer. So you discard a special energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon.
Yeah, as an item. We've had stuff like this as supporters, but obviously the main item's better. You haven't played this, right?
I have not yet.
So
No.
have you ever played it? Have you played an expanded?
I don't. I guess I must have, but I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't remember if I have either. But I played it in standard recently, in Frostlight. It's okay. I mean, it's certainly not bad. It's kind of weird. So there's a few decks. There's the Lugia deck, but they have like a lot of special energies. So just
Right,
like one.
and they accelerate it from the deck is like so it's not
If you get rid of Legacy energy, which you sometimes can do, that's huge.
right.
But that's rare. That's the one and not in play. And then there's like double turbo on like Arceus and stuff. So it's all right. There's new up.
Right, if you're if Arceus player on turn one. You attach an energy, you go first. If it's a double turbo, that's generally the ideal situation because it gives you most flexibility. But now enhanced hammer, lose it away, and Arceus is really set back a lot. Obviously, legacy energy is probably the biggest thing. Now, if someone attaches that, get rid of it. But special energy is not huge in the game.
Yeah, of course, this is a card we've seen in the past. It's been good. I think it's the bottom of B tier. Like right now, I think it's not the bottom of
It's
B
not
tier,
that
but
high
I think
right
it'll
now.
end up that high.
It will be at some point, yeah.
Yeah, so I think like trainers are kind of different. I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
Do you want to put it lower?
I'd put it lower because right
What do you
now
put it?
it's
You want to
not.
put it above like Campaign Flute? Below?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stick them all
Below Thwacky.
below Thwacky.
Keep all the trainers together. See if we can keep it up. Oh, this one, I think this one might go lower. We got
Well, Carmen's lower as well. Although Carmen might be.
the items. This one's not an item either. It would have been a year or so ago. Because it's a tool card, handheld fan. If the Pokemon this card's attached to is in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, you move an energy from the attacking Pokemon to your opponent's bench Pokemon. I've not played it yet. I ran into one person playing it. I think it's a consideration, like for Snorlax, Block
Yeah,
Snorlax.
I think any like stall loop style deck, or just any stall deck. Snorlax is kind of stall, but it's like usually only stall if you attach an HP buffing tool to it.
That's
so,
right. That's the problem with that. Now you're not boosting your HP, but since you're trying to get something trapped up there, which you can do pretty effectively, if every time they attack, even if they're taking a prize, they move it, lose an energy, and have to re-accelerate one, they might run out of energy that way as well.
Yeah.
So it has value. There's the Gengar EX that moves energy to the bench, right?
Yeah.
So you could put it in that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's terrible.
It's an interesting card, right? I think control is probably the most logical thing. To me, it's an interesting card to think of and remember. So
Yeah, and then you could put just below Carmen.
that's fine. Yeah, D tier. I
And
think
also
it's
why
a D tier.
the reason Carmen's low is because research is better than it. You didn't really say that, but that's why.
Right. I
'Cause
mean,
it's
if it was,
class.
if it was, and it's two less. If it was discard draw 6, then it would have a little more value.
Yeah. So next we got ourselves a Stadium Jamming Tower. Quite simply, this just stops Pokemon tools in play having effects. Both yours and your opponents, of course, because it's a stadium. And this is good. You think this is really good? I think it's okay.
I mean, right now you were taking a look at the stats for decks. Basically, every deck plays like one lost vacuum. It's kind of the law, right?
Yeah.
To bump. So this can be a multiple bump, right? Because it stops a tool, stops multiple tools in a lot of cases, right? And it bumps the stadium as well. So obviously you can't play it if you're playing a tool-based deck, but most decks aren't. So it's one, it's a stadiums are starting to see a little bit of uptick too, I think, in play. So bumping a stadium's good. Shutting down
Like what
tools.
stadiums?
I don't know. I've seen some. I forget.
I mean, a lot of decks play like a stadium or two. Like Pokestop,
Yeah.
I guess, is common.
Yeah, probably focus. There's not a lot of fourth, right? The stadium war days are done, right?
Yeah, all the
For the
paths
most
to
part.
peak days are done.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like to play fire decks, so they play 4 Magma Basin,
Yeah.
and I played a number of 4 Pokestop decks, right? Those are the 2 decks that like stadiums, basically,
Yeah.
or the 2 stadiums that see a ton of play for the most part. But but lost vacuums usually are a tool, but shutting down the tool is just as good, and it can last multiple turns, right? It shuts down like your opponent. If you go first, your opponent can't slap on the Forest Seal Stone. They can slap on the Forest Seal Stone with the Rotom V, but they can't use the Forest Seal Stone when they need it. So it's just a nice. I think it's a nice card. I think it deserves consideration for a lot of decks, and I think it could be a one-up in a lot of decks, just as much as Lost Vacuum or replace it.
Maybe. I think part of why Lost Vacuum's like really good is because you can attach you can like Arbin for it.
You can search, right? It's hard to get stadiums,
Yeah.
so that's a problem. That's why every deck should play Secret Box.
Yeah. That secret box is I think pretty good. But anyway,
So it's what is it D tier? Is it B tier? Where do you want
I
it?
could see C tier.
Okay.
I think it's
You want to put the
like
bottom?
bottom
See, I
C.
see where you're dragging. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to catch on. I think it deserves more attention than it's getting.
Maybe. I mean, if tools become really good, but like you can bump it. Like it's not that hard to bump. So
Yeah. I mean, there are decks, which I play some of as part of why, but other people, you play like decks with a bunch of Bravery Charms and Heroes Capes and stuff, and all of a sudden all those things get shut off, right? That could be scary.
uh-huh.
All right.
But next we have ourselves a supporter Kieran, which has 2 things. It switches,
Mhm.
or it's just so as a supporter you just only you can use it just as a switch, which obviously gives you an item,
Yeah,
or
which is
you can use
terrible.
during this turn. Attacks used by Pokemon do 30 more to your
Yeah.
points at the EXO-V. I will say the switch thing, it is sometimes having a support as a switch is better as an item than an item as a switch because of Misfortune Sisters and Airy
Yeah.
control, so it actually does have value. That's why Turris and Airy
Right.
sees place.
Or your item lock, they play the grass guy.
Venema.
Yeah.
I think this card is all right. If you do it with the Diplin deck, where you double attack,
Hmm.
essentially double damage, kind of fun, but or weakness before weakness, I'm assuming, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's all right. I mean, it helps math.
Right. Especially if control, the bigger control is, the more switching cards you need, the better. Plus, it provides something else when don't need the switching option. So I see it has some value. 30 more. Obviously, we have tools that provide.
I guess, but they don't like have.
So, so it's okay. Is it better than, the card it compares to is Serena, right? So it's different, but that's the one that was recently that gave two options on supporter, right?
I don't know. I think you said that when this card was like
You
revealed
just
top
ignored me
before.
back then too.
I think that doesn't really to me that there's just like the
Well,
difference.
the choices are different, but we don't get many supporters since the tag teams with choices.
Yeah. Well, and the tag teams, it was like do something or do something and something.
That's true. That is
So
different. So I guess, where's it go? I'm
I
not
think
sure
this
that I'm
is
loving it.
I think it's a B tier, but I don't
B
think you think
tier.
it's B tier. I think it's gonna end up in C tier again.
You want to put
Oh
it in, if you really want it in B tier, I'll
no, it's
let you know.
fine. It's in C tier.
Okay. C tier's getting a little big here as
It's
I just
fine.
look at
It's
the thing.
fine. It's going
So
where?
you want it towards the high end, I assume, right?
Yeah, I guess it'll be above Okidogi, below Palafin.
Okay, you don't want to bump Palafin.
No, Palafin's the goat. No, we can put it above Palafin. You want me to put it above Palafin?
I don't care.
Okay. And then we got Lana's Aid supporter. Put
Yeah.
up to 3 in any combination of Pokemon without rule boxes and basic energy from your discard into your hand.
Which I like. I think this was my suggestion. I don't know if he would have put it in or not. Clara was very good, and this is what we have similar to that, right? It's not quite as good probably because it's three instead of that could do four, but it can be three of all one type. Whereas Clara was
Yeah,
two
it's like Super
and
Rod versus
two.
Ordinary Rod, but the big difference is it can't be a rule box Pokemon, right? So
That's true. That's a big deal. But getting these cards or getting these energies back in hand too, as we have, if people are playing like the Teal Mask Ogre Pond, things like that you need energies to, or Zatu engines in your Dragapult, things like that are good. Although Dragapult, if you're playing Zatu, then you can play Tulip, but it can work with the Teal Mask Ogre Pond. So I think it has value. I think it's a card to remember. I think it's a card that we'll see like one of in some decks,
yeah.
a decent number of decks.
Yeah, I think it's all right. I think it's looking like C tier.
Yeah. So you think it's like that? It goes. You put a copy into a number of decks, right? 20% of the decks you might drop a copy or
Maybe.
something.
I think it's probably
Less
less
than
than
that.
that, but
I guess Clara was less than that
I
too.
guess it'll be the bottom of C tier.
All right.
I think Claire was better. I mean, Claire was
Clara was
just like,
better, I
yeah.
guess.
Next we got this card isn't C tier. You got Rhyhorn.
This is the last.
You're like, we
hand.
got to put Rhyhorn. I was like, why are we putting this card?
All right.
I didn't even know this card was in the set.
Supporter,
I
look
was
at the
like,
top five cards of your deck, discard any number of them, put the others back in any order. So this is once again my theme for this, and maybe this is the theme for the set. Discarding is awesome, right? So I can
I guess,
discard.
but there's not that many discard cards. I mean, I guess a lot have some discarding, but
Right. So this is a really weird one.
well, because it's bad. Like it's like a very like a I don't know.
Well,
You can kind of
you put the others back in any order though, too, right? And I was enjoying Cypher Maniac's code breaking, and this is kind of like that, but better, right? I look at the top five.
but this is less. That's
Well,
less
yes and
decks,
no.
more than five, less
Well,
than
that's
five
true. I
cards.
see top five, but I do get to order them, right? And we have a lot of ways to draw a card or two cards, right? Like with
Yeah.
Curlia or Radiant Greninja, you see two cards, you ditch others. Again, there's decks that want to do it because hey, all I play is Regidrago, the V Star. That's like the only deck
But
I
it's
play. It's not
yeah.
bad for that. It's actually good for that.
What?
It's not. You discard some cards. Discard
Oh
your
yeah.
It
No,
could
I
go
think
in
it
that.
has some value. I think it's pretty niche. You could do it in like United Wings or Draco Restar, but I don't know. I think it's bad.
I'm looking forward to the next set. We get the United Wings piece, and then all these discard pieces are just taken
They're
over.
just broken. I think
It's an interesting card,
I
right?
think it's probably the worst card in the set.
It's the worst.
No, it's not the worst card in the set, but I think it's
You think it's worse than Morpeko?
I guess. Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. I think it's interesting. Fine. It's not good, but I think it's a really interesting card. So
Yeah, it's a card. So we hope you enjoy the podcast. This is our tier list for the set. So check out our channels, 10 Types and Uncommon Apostle. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And anything else you want to say?
Just let us know what cards you think we should have talked about, because we missed some ones that you probably care about too.
Yeah. But we hope you enjoyed, and as always, we're excited to see you in the next episode.
Take care.